one of Tennessee's most wanted is now in custody.
It's been scary. My kids have been scared and we've been a little nervous.
7 days on the run, sightings on security cameras.
But let me assure you of this, the U.S. Marshal Service will not stop until he is in custody.
And they didn't. ABC 24 has been there as federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies worked night and day to track down a suspected murderer. Live team coverage of the capture of Austin Drummond starts now.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on this breaking news edition of 24 Plus News Live. I'm Ruben Diaz. Let's get right to that breaking news that we've been mentioning. Austin Drummond, the accused killer of 4 people in Lake County, has been taken into custody. Authorities in Jackson, Tennessee announcing this morning that they've captured Drummond, ending a nearly week-long manhunt after a family of 4 was killed and a baby was left in the yard of somebody's home. We have a crew en route to the scene as we speak. We've been covering this all day long. We want to get you caught up right now on the current charges that Austin Drummond is going to be facing. You see them now on your screen. Right now, Austin Drummond is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder. He's facing 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, as well as 4 counts of a felon in possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. Those are the counts that he's facing right now. There could be more added as we continue. Here's a timeline of the events around this case. This is actually one of the images that was released today of him. In Dyer County on Tuesday, July 29th, the sheriff's office deputies received a call shortly after 3 o'clock and were told that a car had dropped off a baby in a car seat in the front yard of Old Highway 20 near Tigret. Immediately after discovering the infant, investigators started looking for the baby's family. They soon learned that 4 relatives had not been seen since the night before. District Attorney General Danny Goodman relaying that information. Tuesday evening in Lake County, officials with the TBI said 4 bodies were found along Carrington Road, that's in Tiptonville. The victims were identified as 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. Now, following the discovery of the victims, the Lake County and Dyer County Sheriff's Offices requested assistance from the TBI and the FBI. Then on Wednesday, July 30th, Drummond was seen in Jackson, Tennessee. According to investigators, he was believed to be driving a damaged white 2016 Audi. On Thursday, the TBI confirmed the connection between the baby's abandonment and the victims that have been found. As they said, the search for Austin Drummond continued. James Wilson and Adriana Williams were confirmed to be the baby's parents. Rose was Adriana and Braden Williams' mother. According to Goodman, he also says all 4 of the victims lived in Dyer County. Now, on Friday, several local and federal authorities held a press conference in Jackson emphasizing that Drummond was still on the loose. And then later that afternoon, the white Audi was found unoccupied on a dead-end road in Jackson, right next to a neighborhood. On Saturday, TBI confirmed that they found a 1988 white Ford pickup truck with a red stripe near Burnt Mill Road. That's in Dyersburg. Now, let's take a live look right now at what you can expect here in the coming minutes. There will be a press conference. There will be information relayed from all of the officials that have been involved in the capture of Austin Drummond. Let's give you a rundown of who you can expect to hear from. David Roush with the TBI, he's the director, he will be there. The chief from the Jackson Police will be there. A U.S. Marshal named Tyrese Miller will be there as well. Danny Goodman will be there. He's the District Attorney General in that area. You'll also be hearing from Brian Avery, Jeff Box, and Julian Weiser. They're all county sheriffs in that area. One is Lake, one is Dyer, and one is Madison County. They have not obviously reached the podium yet. They will be going to that podium here in the next few minutes. We will take that live as soon as it happens so we can get the very latest information. The TBI and officials not releasing information yet. They will just release that at that press conference. We, of course, will be bringing that to you live, which is why we're here right now. 24's Desmond Nugent is live right now from the scene where all of this unfolded in Jackson. He's been joining us all morning long with the very latest information. Desmond, what can you tell us right now?
Right now, we're at the intersection, near the intersection of Bridle Path Drive and Pleasant Plains Road. This is kind of where a lot of authorities, multiple agencies have been, where they've been from state troopers, or whether it be TBI agents, or just local law enforcement here in Jackson, Tennessee. This is kind of the area where everything we believe has started. Residents told me here in this neighborhood who lived here for a very long time that Austin Drummond attempted to carjack someone here in this area, and that's how police were able to kind of scope out this area throughout the morning, and that was the first sighting that was reported as far as that notification that went out on social media from the city of Jackson. So authorities have been here, they've been combing this area. We're not sure if what they're looking for, but they have been, Sheila, if you want to go up a little bit, they have been going to this, I guess it's part of the residence, at least this part of the neighborhood, in and out all this morning. Literally the last 3 or 4 hours, all we've been seeing is just multiple agencies going in and out of this particular driveway. We don't know why that is. Hopefully we'll get more information during that press conference here in about 25 minutes. But again, residents here in the Jackson, Tennessee area along Bridle Path Drive and Pleasant Plains Road are telling us specifically that this is kind of where the area of the first sighting for as far as Austin Drummond has been so far. Again, we'll continue to keep you updated whenever we do have more information, but for now, live in Jackson, Tennessee, Desmond Nugent, ABC 24 News. Back to you, Ruben. Okay, so another thing that residents have been telling me all this morning is that they kind of just feel very happy that Austin Drummond has finally been captured. They've been telling me that they feel a sense of relief. One woman, Shanna Tabor, tells me that she's finally able to go on her morning jog. She's finally able to get in her backyard to do the daily things that she would typically do just throughout the day. She's been telling me that when it all is said and done, she's just glad, she just commends that the local law enforcement captured this guy. She tells me that she's been a prisoner in her own home for the last 3 or 4 days, and she didn't like that feeling. Her kids were scared, she was scared. She said that sheriff's departments have been knocking on her doors. She wasn't able to come outside. No one likes that feeling whenever you're trapped in your own home and you don't even feel safe in your own home. In fact, another couple that we spoke with earlier tells us that they actually knew Austin Drummond's family and that they feel sorry for the actual family because he does come from a good family. And again, we don't know exactly the full details of everything, but what we do know is that Austin Drummond has been captured by authorities, and we'll have more information on that press conference here in about less than 20 minutes. But one of the things that other people have been telling me just throughout the last 3 to 4 hours is that they are just happy things are going to go back to normal. They don't even know what that sense of security feels like because the last couple of days they've been trapped in their own home. They couldn't go to the grocery store. They didn't feel safe. They were one couple that I just said a few minutes ago told me that they were kind of just they have their own. They thought they were going to have to exercise their own Second Amendment right just because they wanted to protect their own home. That's how safe. That's how dangerous things have been in this neighborhood. Again, we're hoping to get more information about what's been happening or that led to this particular point. Again, people in this area, people in this neighborhood feel very safe and secure once again. But for now, I'm going to turn it back to you, Ruben.
Desmond, before I let you go, this is a national story, right? This story has taken over headlines all across the country. And as you've been covering it today and seeing the reaction of people in that neighborhood, seeing this happen in their neighborhood, what's kind of been the overall take from your perspective as you've watched people maybe breathe that sigh of relief?
I will tell you, Ruben, the last couple of days, people haven't really been able to come outside because they had to kind of shelter in place. We've seen more people out here the last couple of days, last couple hours rather, than they have been the last couple of days. So people are smiling. People are, kind of waving at each other again as if like they haven't seen each other in over a week because that's how they've been feeling, trapped in their own home. So one of the things that I do know is that some people were asking me driving back and forth along this street is this the area that Austin Drummond was found? I told them I really couldn't answer that question, but this is the area that authorities were able to at least comb through the area, kind of looking for any type of evidence that they can find. But again, as I was saying earlier, a lot of law enforcement have been going in and out of this section of the neighborhood, so we don't know exactly what has been going on in this area. But again, one lady that told me that her next door neighbor, in fact, had surveillance footage of Tabor just yesterday around 4:30 in the morning, and that she was actually, quite frankly, scared that her own husband could have actually ran into him. So again, people are feeling more safe and secure than they ever have the last couple of days because this is a neighborhood that doesn't really get a lot of foot traffic. This is a neighborhood that they don't feel safe in, and it's been the polar opposite just in the last couple of days, Ruben.
All right, Desmond, thanks so much for your report out there. You've been out there all morning long, and you obviously will continue to bring us the very latest as we continue to learn more as this case unfolds and as authorities give us the details that we have not been able to get at this point in time. We do want to welcome in ABC 24 anchor Pepper Baker into the fold as we continue this team coverage of this breaking news that's been happening all morning and will continue throughout the rest of the day. Obviously, We're waiting for that press conference to happen at 2:30.
Yes, there's been excellent coverage from our team so far, and been following it all morning and just seeing how this has unfolded. We started here, last week, and then seeing the 6 days from that has just been absolutely all hands on deck, from agencies to news to everything. So, of course, if you're just joining us now, just like I'm joining you here, we'll just kind of get caught up again on everything, starting with making sure that you are caught up on those current charges for Austin Drummond. Drummond is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 4 counts of a felon in possession of a firearm while committing a crime. Now, here is a timeline of the events around this case. As you all probably know, if you've been following us pretty well, this all started in Dyer County on Tuesday, July 29th. The sheriff's office deputies received a call shortly after 3 p.m. and were told that a car had dropped off a baby in a car seat at a front yard on Old Highway 20 near Tigrit.
Yeah, now, as we've been covering this story, the initial reaction to this was how odd that was, right? You know,
Yes.
When you first hear there's an abandoned baby found in front of a house, none of us knew what to make of that story at that point in time.
Right. So the U.S. Marshals held a press conference, I believe it was Friday. Our Lauren Turman was there really covering that. And one thing that felt like an odd note through all of this was the fact that they said that there was an act of compassion or a humanitarian effort there to drop the baby off. Yes. We also had a report that Drummond flagged down somebody to let them know that there was a baby dropped off in the lawn. So again, it was kind of interesting to hear them say that there might have been a little bit of humanity in that moment, and that's why they were hoping that he would maybe even turn himself in. There were a lot of calls that he would come and just again, come in person and come unarmed or put his hands up and surrender and turn himself in just from that one act. But yes, an abandoned baby, sparing the baby, but also leaving that baby without a grandmother, without parents, and without an uncle from our understanding.
Yeah. Let's continue the timeline. So after they find the infant or the baby, they start looking for the baby's family.
Right.
And that's when they soon learned that the 4 relatives hadn't been seen since the night before. This all according to the district attorney, Danny Goodman, out there. Then later Tuesday evening in Lake County, officials with the TBI said 4 bodies were found along Carrington Road. That's in Tiptonville.
Now, the victims identified as 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. Now, following the discovery of the victims, the Lake and Dyer County Sheriff's offices requested assistance from the FBI and the TBI. And we now know that those 4 victims were in fact related.
Yes.
And all part of the same family, and the baby being related to them now. So we're talking about a whole family wiped out from this event, which is just extremely tragic.
Yeah, so we continue on the timeline of what happened, because at this point, everybody's just trying to figure out what's going on in this situation. So then on Wednesday, July 30th, Drummond was seen in Jackson, Tennessee. By this time, he's been named as the suspect, and people are looking for him actively. He was seen in Jackson, Tennessee. He's believed to have been driving a damaged white 2016 Audi. Then on Thursday, the TBI confirmed the connection between the baby's abandonment and the victims, because initially there wasn't an initial nobody could say for sure that those two were connected.
That is true. You saw the baby that was abandoned reports. Then you're saying we're asking the public to help us locate the 3 family members at the time before they gave the 15-year-old Braden Williams his name. So then that was a matter of hours between the baby, then getting the names, and then unfortunately finding the bodies. And then you have to kind of think about all the time that Austin Drummond had in this same moment of dropping the baby off. Possible, this is all alleged, we're going to find these details out, but these are the things that authorities are piecing together. All the time between when the baby was dropped off, when the victims were found, and then the time that he had to hide and do whatever he was doing in these woods that he's now been captured in. But hours we're talking, in turning into 6 days of a manhunt, and that's a significant time when you are on the run, and no telling how many places he's tried to get in, no telling how many close calls with people he may have came across. I mean, this is a high alert situation, getting on Tennessee's most wanted list. All of this unfolding in this last week for this very tight-knit rural area.
Yes. So both vehicles that were said to have been used by Drummond, the Audi and then a 1988 white Ford pickup truck, were both found. They were found in different locations, but they were both found. The trunk was found in Dyersburg. So at that point, authorities were saying that they believe he was going to be on foot. Now, what we're waiting for at this point in time is this press conference, that is going to happen, where we're going to get a lot of these details that we're all looking for.
Absolutely. So you could see the setup right there in a matter of minutes now that they will give us an update. We have our crews there. You could see actually that is our cameraman, Justin Brown, setting up the mic. So we'll have that news conference starting at 2:30 p.m. A lot of questions that are hopefully going to get answered. I can't imagine they're going to be able to piece together everything at this moment, but we definitely will be able to get a little bit more insight to just how they were able to connect, the victims to the baby, to then Drummond, maybe his relationship with the victims, if there is one. A lot to unfold here. We know that this is going to be a lot of attention on this press conference. You have national news outlets that are in town for this as well. Are we tossing it back to? Yeah,
I think what we're going to do now is, while we wait for that press conference to start, Desmond Nugent has been in the field all day long, and he's been speaking to people, and he was able to catch up with a neighbor that was able to express just how relieved they are that Austin Drummond was caught.
Actually, we have a resident here by the name of Shannon Tabor. Tell me just about what life has been like here for you. You're able to finally run, probably for the first time in days, right?
Yes, sir. I've been a little frustrated because I've been a prisoner in my own home. I've had the sheriff's department parked in my driveway. I've had unmarked police cars up and down my street, and it's been scary. My kids have been scared, and we've been a little nervous, so we've stayed in our home. We've kept the doors locked. We've kept the alarm on, and at night we turn on all the lights and just pray he doesn't come to my house. It's nerve-wracking. It's very nerve-wracking.
And finally, you're able to finally get out, probably for the first time in a couple of days. What's that sense? Does it feel like a sense of relief right now?
I mean, I feel free. I feel like I was literally imprisoned in my own home. As soon as I saw the captured, posts on social media, I told my husband, I am getting out of the house. I'm going for a walk. So it's the first thing I did when I realized he was captured. And it's a relief.
Not even just that, and Ms. Tabor, you also see that there's other people probably feel the same as well. Talk to me just about what that feels like to see your other neighbors and not just yourself be able to finally come out with some sense of peace and comfort and safety.
Well, I just noticed that a couple was on a walk with it appeared to be their grandchildren, and to be so comfortable now and at such ease that you can bring your grandchildren out on a walk. I commend our local law enforcement for hanging in there and getting this guy. Thank God he is off the streets.
And I ain't just that, Ms. Tabor. You told me this a few seconds ago, that this is a private residence, and that this is kind of that in the area that you kind of live in, where a lot of this police activity even started.
I literally my backyard is in his backyard. So my next door neighbor on the other side of me is the one that captured him on video yesterday morning at 4:30 a.m. at the exact time that my husband was leaving to go to work. I mean, my husband could have brushed by him within a couple of minutes. It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
And I can only imagine, again, Ms. Tabor, just knowing that you lived that close, you were in that same vicinity of where Mr. Drummond was actually walking in that surveillance video. How thankful are you that nothing happened to not only just you, but also your family as well?
I think it's a testament to the local law enforcement that he has been caught and there was no further bloodshed. It's amazing. I mean, the local law enforcement community rallied around this little slice of my city, and they captured him, and everybody's safe, and it's a testament.
Obviously, there's still a lot of information we don't have yet, but What else are you going to do today? Because I'm pretty sure you probably have a lot to catch up on.
Well, I've got a lot of chores to do outside. You know, I have a great big yard, and I'm trying to get the grass watered since we're not getting any rain. And I just hadn't felt safe even being out in my yard pulling weeds and watering grass. It's a relief.
Yeah, some harrowing details there, as you can imagine. I mean, for any community, that this would be absolutely nail-biting and just terrifying to think that someone could be lurking around in your backyard, her neighbor's backyard, catching the camera there. I had friends that I worked with a little bit in Jackson, Tennessee. I texted them. I was like, hope you guys are okay. But having this whole situation of this community on lockdown. I mean, we heard from one young lady earlier last week saying, we usually keep our garage open, but my dad said, make sure that garage is closed, make sure the doors are locked. And we're talking about a tight-knit, probably rural community that doesn't normally see these types of things, is used to just running around in the yard and having the dogs roam free, or the kids, like she said, having the kids play around outside, and then having to just dial back for days is alarming.
Yeah, so there's so much to unpack in that conversation with that neighbor. The very first thing she's saying is, I felt like I was a prisoner in my own home.
Right.
And most of us probably can't relate to that feeling and that sense of fear that those neighbors were dealing with during that point in time when Austin Drummond was on the loose, presumably in their area, and then apparently in the backyard
of her
some of those people. And so I can't imagine what they were dealing with and how they were dealing with, and that sense of not being able to live your life. And then now that sense of relief once you catch word that he has been caught and he's no longer in your neighborhood. So really, really very eye-opening to listen to that neighbor's statements as we continue to learn more.
And I want to say a notion to cameras and how we've just been seeing the importance of cameras in a lot of these situations. I mean, we take it back even just to the Tyree Nichols situation, and then we have Ring cameras all over everybody's houses now. Without this type of technology, who knows what could have happened or how long he may still be on the run. But, you get the Ring camera notifications that something's moving, and it's usually the wind. But when you go and check it and it happens to be potentially the man that's wanted and has a rifle in his hand in your backyard, I just think this is something everybody's going to remember forever. I mean, you're always going to remember this case. It's truly shaping up just to give me the heebie-jeebies, as I'd like to say. But yes, it is nice to see that she's breathing a sigh of relief as the whole neighborhood is able to go back out and be at peace for now. You mentioned the importance of cameras, and honestly, one of the first actual pieces of video we've seen of Drummond was a camera video that was released of him when he was at Cornerstone Community Church. Right. I know we'll have to try to pull that video up, but this video surfaced of him. He was dressed in camouflage, had a backpack on, and a gun. And this is out in Jackson. At this point, people weren't sure of exactly where he was, if he was still in Jackson or if he had fled the area. But this video, as you mentioned to allude to how important the video is, that video was one of the first videos we've seen of him since this whole thing began. Yeah, we're finally seeing what he may be wearing, a little bit more of description on what he looked like. And it was like police and authorities, we kept saying, believe him to be armed and dangerous. But the video very much then confirmed that he, in fact, was carrying a rifle. So video, very important here, just in a nutshell of how much this is the video that we're talking about. Now, this may be in the backyard of what... This is the Cornerstone Church. This is the Cornerstone Church situation. This is where this was all actually recorded Sunday night and then released yesterday. But it was timestamped for Sunday evening. But this is him at that Cornerstone Community Church area that was the first time we'd seen him. Yes, this was actually near Pipkin Road. As you can see, holding a black rifle, wearing camouflage pants, a long sleeve camouflage shirt, and a brown backpack, trying the doors. I mean, that is just eerie in its own self. Absolutely trying to find shelter. The man has been on the run now for days. The other picture that the authorities released after he was caught kind of can tell you the kind of condition he was in, just tired, on the run, looking out everywhere. You have to understand, this man reached desperation. It's at the point where now I'm looking for shelter, I'm looking, and who knows what could have happened if he had ended up in a confrontation. But at this time, homeowners were told to stay alert, lock their homes, garages, sheds. Everyone was checking their security cameras for any sightings, and clearly that is what's leading us to here now. I mean, this man wanted for 4 counts of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and gun charges. And just terrifying to think, just whole entire thing, just seeing it now come into light with the video. He is now caught as of this morning. But authorities, I have to give them credit. They really had been following the tracks, following it as closely as they could, finding the vehicles. It's just been an enormous effort. Helicopters. Here's the charges again. 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 4 counts of felon in possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. We had also reported on his prior record.
Yeah, he had a prior record as well. I think one of the other points to note is that there are 4 people in custody right now accused of helping Austin Drummond during the course of his, during the course of the time while he was trying to get away. So I'm assuming we'll hopefully hear more about these 4 people and what role they may or may not have played while Austin Drummond was on the loose. Those 4 people accused and helping him right now are Tanaka Brown, Giovante Thomas, Brandon Powell, and De'Ara Sanders. Thomas, by the way, in the Madison County Jail on unrelated charges right now. He'll be transferred to the Lake County Jail.
Now, he and Powell will be in court on Thursday, of course, and now Sanders is also being charged with accessory after the fact, and if convicted, Sanders could serve up to 6 years in prison. Now, Brown's bond has been set at $250,000. He is still in custody.
Yeah, so right now, there are more questions than answers, right? There's relief that Austin Drummond has been found, but there are so many questions as to how it got to this point, what happened that fateful day, and what role these people may have played in helping him stay on the run for as many days as he was on the run. Those are the answers that we're hoping to get when the officials speak with us at this press conference, which is scheduled to start here in roughly 2 minutes or so.
Yes, we'll have that shortly. And also the motive, like I don't know if it's far enough into the investigation to know exactly what led him to do this to the 4 victims and why he spared the baby. But again, there's just a lot of questions, as you said. And when we talk about accessory after the fact or accomplices, that could range anything from giving him a ride, lending him a car, just a number of things giving him a place to crash or knowing somebody that could have helped him, phone calls. Yeah. We have no idea. But hopefully those things will come out in the next 2 minutes because there's a lot of attention on this. I mean, he's been on the run for 6 days. Yep. Lots of media attention, lots of national outlets in town tonight waiting for this very moment of this press conference to see what they can share with us. But 6 days is significant, and several county-wide alert and people fearing in their homes, not being able to sleep at night, and just knowing he was lurking in the shadows.
You've been looking at the latest released photos of Austin Drummond on today as he was captured. There's one of the pictures that was released from officials, and then there's this version right here, just to show you can kind of see he has been caught. That's that look of being caught at that point in time, and then the officials wanted to make sure everybody knew this is what it looked like when we caught him. This is where he was at. We haven't gotten the details yet. We've been told that kind of where the scene may or may not have been, some speculation on what may or may not have happened that led up to him being seen and spotted, and then eventually authorities finding him. But we don't have any of the details yet.
Right, like up to the moment of did he surrender? Did he put the guns down? Was it a fight? Was it anything? So definitely hoping that at least that will come out when they do take the podium. As you can see here, this has been a joint effort. And when I say joint, I mean multiple. I mean FBI, TBI, U.S. Marshals, Jackson Police. I mean any Dyer County, you got Lake County authorities. All over the place on this, helicopters, probably dogs, everything, all that they could to pull out all the stops to try to find him. And if for anybody in that neighborhood, I just go back to that because you don't normally see this, nobody normally in any really neighborhood, but to see just the effort and the manhunt and knowing that he was in the area the whole time just lends itself for nightmares probably to come.
Yeah, so a lot of us use social media on the daily, right? And on social media yesterday were so many videos of people in Jackson showing the helicopters in the sky, the police presence in their normally quiet neighborhoods, you know, just talking about how it's not that day was just not like any other day.
Right.
And I have not had the chance to be on social media today because I've been on the air most of the day, but I can only assume today is much of the same. So social media also playing a presence in some of this where people are able to give you real-time feels, an idea of what they're going through during something like this.
I am very curious to know, I said the motive before. You know, everything's accused now, so I'm not, you know, it's alleged, but just to drop off the baby, then, you know, what we found out were the bodies of the victims, and then to have people who are now accused of being accomplice to it, it feels like this was planned in some way. So I'm very much keen to know if investigators have been able to piece the puzzle a little bit more on that. Just all of the steps, every moment of the way, every step of the way that Drummond was on the run, and who he contacted, and if he had been planning this beforehand, before the bodies were found, the connection to this family. So hopefully we're going to get that in a couple minutes. It's supposed to start at 2:30, so they should be up there any minute now, getting all these details together. And you know, I just think we should give breath still to the victims.
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier where during the hustle and bustle of him being caught and us trying to get information out, it looks like people are starting to get to the podium now. So if they do, we will go directly to that press conference. We don't want to lose sight of the fact that people lost their lives.
Absolutely.
During all of these events, and we want to make sure we give them that time. Let's go ahead and turn right now to this press conference to get all the latest information.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kim Wheeler, Public Information Officer for the West Region of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We couldn't be more relieved today to share with you an update that Austin Drummond is in custody. That is a significant win for all the dedicated agencies that worked tirelessly over the past week to bring him to justice. We want to thank the community for the incredible help. This successful apprehension was made possible by the countless tips and unwavering support that we received from you, the citizens. Without your partnership and willingness to come forward with information, this arrest would not have been made possible. Thank you for being the eyes and ears. After everyone speaks, we will open it up for questions, but please note this is an ongoing investigation, and you're going to have questions that absolutely cannot be answered at this time. With me here today to provide more information on the capture of Austin Drummond is TBI Director David Roush, Jackson Police Chief Tom Corley, U.S. Marshal Western District of Tennessee Tyrese Miller, 29th Judicial District Attorney General Danny Goodman, 26th Judicial District Attorney General Jody Pickens, Lake County Sheriff Brian Avery, Dyer County Sheriff Jeff Box, and Madison County Sheriff Julian Weiser. Director Roush.
Thank you, Kim, and thanks to each and every one of you that are here today. Let me start by making it very clear. This is a phase of the effort. The capture is a phase. We will move into the next phase. We've already started that at this time. So, but this is not done by any means. This is just we are now able to move into the next phase. So I do want to say thank you. This is a perfect example of police community cooperation. And there is no better example for this country, frankly, of the effort that's gone into this week-long challenge, trying to find the suspect after the horrible, tragic deaths of the family that was taken from the Lake County community. And so I do want to say thank you to the local, state, and federal agencies that all came together tirelessly, working 24 hours a day for an entire week until today, when finally we were able to get the lead we needed to find the suspect and get him into custody. It also took a very vigilant community, and so we're very appreciative of everyone here in Jackson for being vigilant, paying attention, and especially for the calls today that led us on the path, that led to
ABC 24 News starts right now with breaking news.
And a community that is looking out for the safety of everyone here. And so I wanted to make sure we express that. And again, I can't tell you how proud we are of the amazing team of police that have worked on this from our various levels within government. And it shows what can happen when we put everything aside with a focus on mission. And so I want to reiterate how important that has been and how proud we are of all that were engaged in this to be able to come to today's phase in our effort. And so with that, I will turn it over for the specifics of the capture over to Chief Tom Corley with Jackson PD.
Good afternoon. Before anything else, I'd like to begin by expressing our heartfelt condolences to the families of the lost loved ones from this vicious crime of Lake County. We're praying for you. No words can fully capture the depth of your pain, but please know that you're not alone and the Jackson community mourns with you. Again, we're here today to confirm that Austin Drummond has been taken into custody. More importantly, his capture occurred without any further harm to the public or to any law enforcement officers. The outcome, as the director referred to, is the direct result of incredible coordination, skill, and determination shown by our local, state, and federal partners. It's a powerful example of what can happen when law enforcement agencies work together with the community who have a shared mission and a singular focus. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and sincerely thank the agencies who played a role in this effort. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the United States Marshal Service, from our state partners, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Tennessee Highway Patrol, and the Tennessee Department of Homeland Security, and local law enforcement, the Jackson Police Department Special Operations Division, our Patrol Division, our Criminal Investigation Unit, and our JPD dispatchers and communications, and also the Madison County Sheriff's Department. Each of these agencies brought their resources, their people, and their expertise to the table, and they did so with excellence. I'd like to pause right now, though, and I'm a little biased, but I'm going to talk about the Jackson Police Department for just a minute. From the moment this case unfolded, you never hesitated. Our dispatchers, patrol officers, special operations, investigators, each of you demonstrated bravery, precision, and tireless dedication, even in the face of danger. Your courage has not gone unnoticed, and the citizens of this community are proud of you, and I'm deeply thankful for you. To briefly cover the apprehension this morning, I want to first address the process that led up to it. As you're aware, for the past several days, law enforcement have been focusing on specific areas of the city based upon some intelligence, some physical evidence, and technology. From discovering the vehicle near MCO Road and the intelligence which led us to the area off of Pleasant Plains Drive, these type fugitive search operations are most typically made in a methodical fashion. When covering areas, particularly wooded areas, a cursory search is not sufficient for community safety. And I know that's difficult to have patience for. And I know several of you probably didn't get a lot of sleep because the helicopters flying around and the officers being in your neighborhood. And I know that's tough, but for the last few days, that's what's been transpiring. This morning, however, a couple of encounters with Drummond changed that methodical search to a dynamic one. Just after 8:00 a.m., we received multiple calls of sightings of the suspect. Placing resources there immediately resulted in an additional citizen's call at about 8:57 a.m. We took advantage of that quickly evolving situation and made the arrest at 9:05 a.m. I'd like to introduce you right now to Officer Trout, Officer Compton, and Officer Drown. They were there right at the right spot and reacted immediately and are responsible for the apprehension of Austin Drummond. As this case moves forward, any additional charges or prosecutorial decisions from any actions that may have occurred within Jackson will be deferred to District Attorney Jody Pickens. We will continue to support his office and the TBI as this process unfolds and ensure that every step toward justice is taken thoroughly and properly. Today, again, we find some peace in knowing that the suspect is no longer a threat, but remain committed to the families, the community, and to justice. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Tonight, families in West Tennessee can sleep more soundly. Austin Drummond is once again behind bars. He is suspected of an unthinkable crime that put all of us, an entire city and area, on edge. He thought he could outrun us, but he was wrong. That's because together we cannot be stopped. Law enforcement from every level and the people who call West Tennessee home did our parts. We worked long hours, neighbors stayed vigilant, agencies donated reward money, and someone saw something. They saw something out of the ordinary this morning and did what he was supposed to do. Because of that action, Drummond is in custody. Thank you to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation for leading this investigation, to the FBI for their unwavering support, and to the men and women of the Jackson Police Department and the local agencies such as the Madison County Sheriff's Office, Dyer County Sheriff's Office, Lake County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies who show up every day to answer the call to duty. And to the men and women of the United States Marshal Service, thank you. Your relentless commitment to duty is unmatched. To the families in Lake County who lost loved ones, Drummond's arrest cannot restore what has been taken from you. We only hope that we could have helped give you assurance that justice will be had. And to the baby girl who will tell one day her story of survival, we look forward to all that you will do. God bless West Tennessee, and God bless America. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First thing I'd like to do is once again give our condolences to the family of the victims in this case. We have numerous victims, so obviously we have a lot of people in the communities that are hurting because of this, and we want them to know that we're going to do everything we can to seek justice in this matter. You know, this started almost 7 days ago to the exact minute. It was last Tuesday, a little after 3 p.m., when we got the first call of the infant who had been abandoned, and that started this whole process. I don't think I have ever seen so many agencies work together and work in sync. This has been so impressive. It has been what I would think should be a blueprint for the entire country on how to run an operation. You had numerous law enforcement agencies, not just one or two. We're talking about that goes across all of West Tennessee, federal agencies, and they all put their pride aside and had one common goal, and they all did whatever they had to reach that goal. And because of that, today's a good day, and Austin Drummond is not going to be a threat to this community anymore. As Director Rouse said, this was phase 1. The real work starts, and the lengthy work will start at this point. Investigations do not end when a person is arrested. That's just the part to get them into custody. This investigation is going to go on for a good period of time. In addition to that, there will be lots of court appearances, lots of hearings, and we will do everything we can to ensure that the communities are kept safe, and we're going to do that by seeking justice in this case. I'm going to work with General Jody Pickens, because we do have a case, this time that's a little bit different, because we're going across a couple of different judicial districts. And because of that, he and I will be working closely together, but we will work together just as law enforcement did with one common goal, and that's going to be to make sure that we seek justice. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to General Jody Pickens.
Good afternoon. My name is Jody Pickens, and I'm the elected district attorney for the 26th Judicial District, which is comprised of Chester, Henderson, and Madison counties. Like the others who have gone before me, I would like to begin by saying that my condolences go out to the families of these victims who lost their lives. And so we will continue to work to achieve justice for them. The other thing I would say that I want to say that we are very happy that we can at this point bring a degree of peace back to this community, which has been on edge since this incident and since they have learned that this person was back in our community. I too am a Madison County resident, and I just wanted to say that when it comes to law enforcement, we are blessed in this area. We don't have good law enforcement, we have great law enforcement. And as what has been said before, people put their differences aside and work toward a common goal. And that is why we are all standing here in front of you today, because working together, they were able to bring some security to this region. Like General Goodman said, arrest often is just the beginning of a prosecution. There will be the investigation will continue. I will continue to consult with our law enforcement partners, also consulting with General Goodman, because there will be some decisions made. We will be working towards making sure that anybody that may have had a hand in assisting Drummond will be held to answer for that. Those investigations will continue, and we just encourage the public, which has been so important and so engaged in this situation, to continue to provide that information that you may think doesn't matter, but which may in the end provide the break that law enforcement needs. So with that, I would say God bless our state, God bless this community, and God bless America.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Avery. I'm the sheriff of Lake County. For those of you that don't know, Lake County is a county of about 7,000 people. It's kind of one of those counties where if one person hurt, we all hurt. And this happened right in our back door, and it put a lot of people on ease. And we all band together. Once this happened, we all band together. We all want to see this thing through. We all want to see it to the end. But today I want to say, share with our community, the Lake County community, the Madison County community, that Austin Drummond is in custody. This arrest is a significant step toward the ongoing investigation, and we are grateful of the outcome. I want to thank the local, state, and federal agencies that made this happen. Without them, Drummonds would still be free today. The community stepped up with the phone calls, the text messages, the emails. If it wasn't for them, we would still be searching, we would still be looking. To the families of the victims, please know that our thoughts and prayers remain with you. While this arrest brings some measure of relief, we realize that the road to healing is going to be a long one. We as a community continue to pray for the families affected, for those still processing the trauma of these events. Justice will continue to be pursued, and we will remain committed to doing everything we can to support those impacted. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Box, Dare County Sheriff. This incident, the baby was dropped off in my county. The victims were residents of Dare County, and I want to start today by recognizing those victims. I left the funeral home just before I got here today. of one of the victims, and I spoke with both his mom and dad, and they wanted me to sincerely thank with great, great gratitude each responding agency, and each one of you up here, and each officer that responded to this tragic incident that put an evil sense in the air throughout Lake County, Dyer County, Madison County, and all across the state of Tennessee. So I want to begin thanking you from the family by calling those names that were tragically taken. Courtney Rose, Adriana Williams, Braden Williams, James Matthew Wilson. Their names deserve to be spoken. Their lives deserve to be remembered, and their families deserve justice. Our hearts go out to each of these families. We cannot begin to imagine the depth of your pain, the weight of your grief, or the heartbreak of what you are now facing. Please know that this community stands with you. We're lifting you up, and we will walk with you in the days and weeks to come. Thanks to the incredible collaboration that you see here on the stage and the determination of all law enforcement officers and partners, Austin Drummond has now been apprehended and charged with these victims' murders. We are thankful for a safe resolution to this manhunt, but we also recognize that these families, that the difficult journey is just beginning for them. I want to take a moment to thank those who helped make this possible. Sheriff Brian Avery from Lake County, Sheriff Troy Klass of Crockett County, and Sheriff Julian Weiser. The Jackson Police Department, whose partnership and response was unwavering. Our state partners, the TBI, Bureau of Investigation, who kept us informed every step of the way, and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Our federal partners, the FBI and the U.S. Marshals. Every deputy, every officer, every dispatcher, and investigator who contributed to this effort, we thank you, as well as the public information officers, Kim Wheeler of the TBI, and Stephen Sutton, who led an important work of keeping the community and the public informed while we had boots on the ground working this case and assisting in working this case. Thank you to the community. We can't say enough about how your support and cooperation has been the best. Not only to keep yourself safe, but to help in his capture today. Let me be clear that the manhunt is over. The justice process is just beginning, just like General Goodman stated. We remain fully committed to continuing this investigation, including the vehicle that was found in Dyer County, the infant that was abandoned in Dyer County, every tip, every detail that we receive, every lead that will be followed through completely and thoroughly. Everyone has been very concerned about the well-being of the baby, and we're glad to report the baby is healthy and doing well. As we leave here today, let us join with the victim's friends and other family members as they lift up the victim's family in prayer for strength and support that they're going to need in the days ahead. So thank you.
Sheriff Julian Weiser, Madison County. I just want to say thank you to the community for the support, the prayers, being vigilant. I got to witness some hard work this week. It was 5-6 days of high intensity. Local, state, federal law enforcement officers across this county. You know, every door that we opened, every structure we checked, we didn't know if Drummond's was going to be behind there. And to have that amount of intensity over 5 or 6 days, and our law enforcement personnel working 18 to 20 hours a day, they made an ultimate sacrifice to keep our community safe. And I want to personally thank them. I want to thank their families for standing by them. There's a lot of people behind the scenes as far as with TBI, intel analysts, support staff, the district attorney's office. You know, the troops in the field relied highly on our administrative staff. So they did a great job with providing us with intel. And I know the community will get some rest tonight. And it was amazing to see the hard work and commitment and sacrifice that our law enforcement personnel has made for our community. Thank you.
All right, that'll conclude the remarks. Are there any questions that we might be able to handle? Yes, sir, please.
Hi, Brendan Tierney with WSMV 4 News in Nashville. What's the working motive at this point? Any idea, anything you can tell us on why he did this?
Yeah, and at this point on a working motive, we are unable to speak about that. Still all part of the investigative process at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Imani Williams with Channel 5 out of Memphis. Drummond was out on bond for multiple charges out of Lake County and Trousdale County. One in Trousdale County being allegedly smuggling drugs inside the jail, cell phones inside the jail. Will that impact this investigation right now with this incident?
In terms of his prior charges that he also has picked up while he was in prison, all of those certainly will be taken into consideration as we move forward in the justice process, as you've heard the generals speak to. So yes, all of his activities will be certainly considered, not only in our investigative effort in the justice process, but certainly in his housing and how he'll be managed going forward. Yes,
Jack Billy, Fox 13. You know, we saw those 3 accomplices get picked up. Are y'all looking into Caitlin Speed?
Yeah, again, I appreciate the question in terms of, those who were assisting Mr. Drummond as he was on the run. And I can tell you that we will continue to address those individuals, each that have been engaged. In terms of identifying specific individuals, I won't go into that at this time. Yes, ma'am.
I understand there is a connection between the suspect and the victims. Can you just speak to that relationship?
Yeah, in terms of the relationship between the suspect and the victims, the suspect's girlfriend is a sister of a victim, is the daughter of a victim, and is the sister of 2 victims. So yes, that's the familial connection at that point. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'll let Chief Corley address that.
Sure. Yes, so the first call we got, he was out in that area. The second call that we got that led to the apprehension, he had been in that area and was in the wood line, I believe, the wood line right behind that. So, but as far as the location where he was standing or staying overnight or during the day, yes, it was an abandoned or a vacant, I should say, a vacant building.
Does he have any ties to that?
I don't believe so. I can't tell you that.
Was he armed when you found him?
No.
How long do you think he'd been in that pool house? I mean, was it?
I couldn't tell you. Not right now. We're investigating that.
I know you all talked about community support. There was a large reward out. Will somebody get that? Will it divide it? How will it work?
Yes, so in terms of the reward, what will happen is we will vet the information that we obtained and determine who would be appropriate to receive the award. So we'll look into that very specifically to determine who it will. More than likely, from what I have heard, there may be more than one person that will receive a portion of the award. And so that's what we'll be working on as well. Let me go back here and then I'll come back. Yes.
Hi, Mike Sherry, I'm with Channel 3 in Memphis. Can you talk a little bit about how he survived during this period of time in the woods? Was he getting help from the persons who've been charged in this case?
Yeah, Mike, in terms of how he was able to continue to be out on the run and those who assisted him. I won't be able to go into that because that's all part of this investigative process, and we can't go into those details yet at this time.
You know, you said you can't speak to motive. Do you have any idea why all those victims ended up in that same spot in Lake County?
Again, those are specifics about the investigative process. I won't go into details at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Was it surprising to still see that he was still in Jackson? And what was the challenge behind finding him?
Yeah, in terms of were we surprised that he was still in Jackson? I think I don't believe we weren't surprised that he was still here in the area. We know he was obtaining support, obviously. As you know, we have arrested individuals that were providing that. And so it wasn't a surprise. Quite frankly, we thought he may try to run, and his history has shown he has left the state before. And so we were concerned about that, but we had a lot of confidence in the information we were getting, the intelligence we were getting, the technology that we were following that helped us with the assurity that we were honing in quickly on his location. Again, it was the community that really broke this for us, and I don't want to downplay that at all. All of the effort, all of the technology, all of the dog determination that we had was really came down to the community doing as was stated, seeing something and making that call, and that was critical for us to be able to be where we are today with this. I think we're going to get one more.
Ezekiel with ABC 24.
Sorry.
You mentioned that Drummond wasn't armed. Were you able to recover the weapon that you were seen holding?
Yeah, I can tell you that, yeah, we did recover a couple weapons at this point, and we're still searching to see what else is out there. And so I would ask, again, a plea to the public. If you see something that you believe maybe was involved in this, don't touch it. Call right away. Let us get to it and process that scene. And there are still pieces that we're trying to place together, and so there's still evidence out there that we need to gather. But we have recovered weapons. I can't speak to if those are the weapons that were used in the homicides, but I can tell you we have recovered a couple of firearms at this time.
One more question from
Yeah, I'm sorry. I cannot speak to the specifics of the weapons yet. Right? Yes, sir. Final.
Where is the baby? Where is Drummond? And did Drummond say anything once he was captured?
I can tell you in terms of Drummond, he has been transported to a facility. We won't state where he's at this point. And I can tell you that, well, I won't tell you what took place after he was taken into custody. That's all part of our investigative process. In terms of the child, I will yield.
For the baby, we'd rather not say where the baby is now for its well-being, but it is safe, healthy, and being well taken care of.
All right. Again, thank you all. We very much appreciate the help, especially throughout this. The media has been absolutely critical, pushing information as quickly as we could provide it to you, keeping a focus for the public on this. And so we again, this isn't just policing. This is our community. This is our great media doing a fine job. So thank you all as well for the effort that was put into this. We appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot of information we're waiting to get confirmation on that we had put some pieces of the puzzle together, but finally hearing from authorities, the biggest one to me, Ruben, confirming that Drummond's girlfriend is the sister of 2 of the victims and the daughter of 1. Yes. Did not really give exact specifics on the names, but we know there are 4 victims, and Courtney Rose is 38 years old. Then we had Adriana Williams, who was the 20-year-old, her boyfriend that we think her boyfriend was James Wilson, the 21-year-old, and then the 15-year-old Braden Williams.
So that was one of the keys that we had been waiting to hear, kind of what all of that relationship may have been. The other thing that was interesting, and there's a lot to unpack from what we just all heard. No weapons found on Drummond when he was arrested, but weapons were recovered, just not necessarily on him when they arrested him. They would not elaborate on what the weapons were. that they found, or whether or not they felt like those were the weapons from the crime scene.
And we saw from the video that he was carrying what authorities had said in the Facebook postings and social media that was a rifle at the time in the video.
Yes.
So yes, to have recovered or not recovered the weapon when he was arrested, but then to have found weapons elsewhere is interesting.
So it sounds like, and again, we're taking this live as you hear it, we're taking the same type of notes. It sounds as if he was found in a pool house, an abandoned pool house on a woodline area right near that scene where Desmond Nugent had been live all day today. So it would appear he had been looking for somewhere to hide, had found an abandoned pool house, and that's where they ended up finding him. A couple of other quick notes is they mentioned how today's tips, the first tip I think came in at 8:05 of somebody citing Drummond, and then at 8:57 a more direct call from a citizen about Drummond, and they had him arrested by 9:07.
9:07, yes. Quick movement there. And someone asked about the reward.
Yes.
And we know that reward was up to $32,500. And that they believe that they're going to have to vet that reward, of course, and it will probably go to more than one. But there was a lot of notion and just head nods and appreciation to the law enforcement partnerships with local, state, and federal agencies. Not only that, but the community's participation in staying vigilant. There was a lot of word and language to just how the public worked together with authorities to make sure that they could piece as much as they could together to find his whereabouts. For everything from video, from calls, to sightings, to watching the news, to media, to just every step of the way. There was a lot of appreciation for how the public worked in conjunction with these law enforcement agencies and how the law enforcement agencies worked together as well.
Yeah, and one of the other big notes out of that press briefing was the fact that the baby is doing well. The baby is safe. The baby is doing well. They would not elaborate, and for good reason, on where the baby is. Just the fact that the baby is safe, healthy, and doing well, being well taken care of, which I think a lot of people were worried about as well.
Yes, and we got a lot more answers. There's still a lot more questions as well. They couldn't comment on anything really regarding the victim's status when they were found. They didn't really want to speak on exactly what Drummond said during the arrest or thereafter, where we know he's being transported. We don't know where he's being transported to. As you said, the baby's safe, but of course for the child's well-being, they don't want to say exactly where the baby is, but knowing that the baby is safe is most important. But yes, a lot of questions that we will probably see play out in the justice phase. As they said, now we have the captures phase 1, and now it's got to be taken into the criminal justice system to do its part.
Yeah, so one of the things during this is somebody did ask if his priors will be mentioned and considered as part of this, and the officials did say. Now I know let's go ahead and put a bow on this real quick. We're gonna end our coverage right now, and then we'll be right back. All right, we're still on 24+. We just had to get out of our live TV show, but wanted to make sure that we still stay active on our streaming channel 24+, as we continue to break down some of the information that you have maybe heard during that press conference that we just.
Yes, so we just heard from a press conference